Hi there guys, I hope you are having a good day. Now, Tony Bellew has explained to Daniel Dubois in an interview that you have to not care about what's coming back, and if there are injuries or anything like that, you must continue. Now, effectively what Tony Bellew was doing was not necessarily trying to kick Daniel Dubois while he's down, but what he was trying to do is explain to him that you're going to be in that position again when it gets tough, say in the 10th round, like he was in there with Joyce, but I think that you also have to look at it from a different perspective and think that that injury was different from many fighters have suffered before. Many fighters have suffered that injury, but fighters who are saying that he should not have quit maybe haven't suffered that kind of injury. Now, I'm not saying they would do the same in Daniel Dubois' shoes. I'm just saying that Daniel Dubois' decision was justified because I think that he was in a position where he's 23 years old. He's a young man, career and life as well. So ultimately, what he needs to do is prolong his career. He cannot allow his career to end there in the ring with Joyce. What good does that do him and his career? I know he goes on and say even gets a win, a victory, but what happens if that is his last fight? Because Dubois was up on some of the scorecards, so he was still in a chance of winning the fight. But that final jab that landed just before the end landed in a very odd spot for Daniel Dubois, a hard place for him to take because considering the swelling he had around his eye, that would have caused a lot of pain for Daniel Dubois and probably would have completely blurred his vision. I mean, he probably wasn't seeing much out of that eye anyway, but what he could see was probably like double vision and blurred, so there wasn't much he could see from that, and what he could was a distorted image anyway, so that's scary in its own right, especially considering Daniel Dubois has never been in that position before. I think that was the problem more than anything else. The middle fight that he needed. That is what Sam Jones explained before the fight happened. That Joyce has had the middle fight, Dubois has not. So effectively Daniel Dubois never had that situation where he's been hurt or he's been cut or something like that. The eye problem that he did have in the Joyce fight, it just happened to happen when he was in there with a very quality operator in Joyce. Someone with great experience and had great accuracy. It was just considering he was in there with a high level operator that he was unable to adapt and adjust in that kind of fight because he didn't have the experience in order to call upon to do that. So you can see how important that is also. I mean, we can just look at the fact that the fight was stopped, I mean, at the right time in my opinion, but I guess as some are saying it was prematurely stopped. I don't believe that. Daniel Dubois has probably saved his career in making that decision, but still, the fact that he did not have that experience when he needed it most was the reason why. No other reason. I mean, obviously, the eye injury is what caused the stoppage, but the inexperience is what cost Daniel Dubois all around. If you look at it through the rounds, through the fact that Joyce was continuously landing the same kind of punches, and therefore Daniel Dubois was unable to adjust to that. But Daniel Dubois is still young, so he can learn from this. I mean, he can take a lot from that Joyce fight. To think that he was in there with a quality operator like Joyce and was up on the scorecards, so he didn't look out of place. He was just unable to adjust and make the necessary changes in the fight when he needed to. Those are things that Daniel Dubois would have learned during his career if he had been matched a little bit better towards that Joyce fight. If he had, say, a Bryant Jennings in between, where he got hurt maybe, got clipped a few times, caught with too many punches that he should not have been caught with, then he would have learned that there are certain adjustments that need to be made, especially in the championship rounds. Around rounds 8 to 12, those are very important, but rounds that Dubois has a very little experience in. So effectively I don't think Daniel Dubois will want to do this again. I don't think that he'll want to go through all of this again, and the fact that he will adjust and learn from it means that he might not have to. I mean, yes, he's going to be in that position. I agree with what Tony Bellew is saying. He will be in that tougher situation again, but I think that next time around, he will have answers to it. He will be adjusting and adapting it to the opponent that's in front of him, because it's not just about focusing on what, say, that fighter is doing, say Daniel Dubois. It's not just about focusing on what he's doing. It's about taking things away from his opponent. He takes away Joyce's jab and he solves the problem. Easier said than done, yes of course, but if he starts to be able to do that, then take things away from his opponent, then he thwarts that damage being constantly caused to his eye. So that is definitely something that Daniel Dubois can adjust to and learn from going forwards in his career. So All in all, I would say that Daniel Dubois didn't lose because he quit. I would say in fact he lost through inexperience. Guys, anyway, what are your thoughts on this? Make sure you leave your thoughts in the comments below, leave a thumbs up and subscribe if you are new. Thanks guys.